Welcome to Imperfect Mommying. Our children are constantly looking to us for examples. The term role model doesn't quite cut it here. We are shaping their worldview with every move we make. You see, it's not in the lectures we give or moments where we are actively attempting to teach them. It's in the micro movements we make, the unconscious ways in which we navigate life. We are constantly teaching our children how to show up for themselves, their friends, their future partners, and even their future children. So what can we do to ensure we are raising thoughtful, compassionate, self-aware human beings? We have to become them ourselves. No one is perfect, but we can still all be better, and it starts with self-healing. Let's get to it. Hey mamas, this is Alysia and welcome to Imperfect Momming, and we are recording episode number 1. So I just did a funny little head jiggle. I don't know why I did that. So I just want to welcome you to the podcast. I want to introduce myself so you can get to know me. Like I said, I'm Alysia Lyons, and I am a neurotransformational coach. I work specifically with moms, mostly because I can relate. I'm a single mom of a beautiful 9-year-old boy whose name is Xander, and sometimes he's going to join us invited and uninvited to the podcast. But I promise he'll bring so much entertainment and joy and so much fun to the podcast when he joins. I'm going to have some awesome guests throughout the podcast. I'm going to have some solo episodes, just me and you, to share my thoughts and kind of lessons of the week. I have a blog that I write weekly, and that the posts show up on Friday, so you can kind of learn about what's going on in my life and what lessons I've learned real time. And, I want to help you understand that the better people we become, the better parents we become. So this is my experience. I started out at one point in my life, I would say even 10 years, I didn't want to be a mom. I didn't really like kids. In fact, I really, really wanted to avoid them at all costs. So when I started feeling those feelings that we often describe as our biological clock ticking, then having a kid was all I could think about. And I will tell you that when I say I could only think about becoming a mom, that's all I could think about until my husband at the time finally put a stop to it. And he said, you know what, we're going to be happy with a kid and we're going to be happy without a kid. And so let's just be happy while we try and have fun and just accept what is, which is probably the most profound thing that he ever said in our relationship. So it took about 1.5 years for us to finally get pregnant. And I was so over the moon. And I always love to say that the first probably 6 weeks of his life, I could have done those 6 weeks the rest of my life. He was such a good baby. He slept when he was supposed to sleep. He was cuddly. He didn't cry a whole lot. He woke up a couple times in the middle of the night, but it was easy to get him back down. And I was in heaven. Around 6 months, I had a postpartum nervous breakdown. I was going to his 6-month appointment, and that morning, I fell down the stairs. I was holding him, and I fell down the last 3 steps, and I landed as hard as you can land on my bum, and it was just such a jarring moment. This was probably the first time that I experienced real guilt, like I could have hurt him. And so that was the beginning of it. His dad had been complaining the day before that he never gets to go to the appointments. He had the opportunity to go and he chose not to. So I was super frustrated with that. I got to the appointment and his doctor had a questionnaire. On the questionnaire, it said, are you getting the support that you need? And I stared at that question and I wanted to check no. And I checked yes. And that evening I came home and I'm pretty sure I've picked a fight with my spouse. And at one point during the fight, he said, I want a divorce. And it was like, well, I can't do this alone. I can't be a mom. I can't be a single mom. Like I can't do that. And I remember saying, I want to die. And I also remember saying or thinking, that's not an okay thing. Like something's going on. So fast forward a little bit, we stayed together. I was going to counseling on my own, and we stayed together for almost a year after that point. We split up when Xander turned 14 months old, and I was so depressed. I did not want to do this alone. I didn't sign up to be a single mom. I signed up to be a family. I signed up to have a mom and a dad and a baby, and that we would be happy. And that's what I signed up for. And this is not the story. Like, this isn't what happened. And I didn't know what to do. And I just remember feeling so alone. Luckily, in both of these moments, I had really good friends that I could be honest with. I had people to talk to. I had support. Even though sometimes it didn't really feel like it, I had support. And so I did make it through that time. When I went through the divorce, it was like everything that I had built up until that point came crashing down. So I built a business. I was in direct sales. I got to a leadership position. I wasn't very strong in that position, but I had my family. I had my husband. I was a military wife. I was super proud of that. I was proud to be a wife. I was proud to be a mom. I was proud to be a leader in this company, and I was driving a free car with this company. And one by one, those things disappeared. Obviously, I was still a mom, but I felt like such a horrible mom because right around that time, right around 16 months, my son started exhibiting these behaviors that I was like, what is going on with this kid? I don't know how to deal with any of this. I'm not equipped. And so, luckily, I have a sister who was going through college courses to get her master's degree in child development and with an emphasis in autism. And she said, you might want to talk to your doctor because he's showing some signs. So I went to the doctor, I got a referral. We got him into early intervention. He ultimately got the diagnosis, but honestly, if I didn't tell you that he was on the spectrum, you wouldn't know. So we got him that early intervention. Everything was going so well. But the one thing that was eluding me was success in my business. I wanted to get back. Yeah, I wasn't a wife anymore, but I started to feel a little bit better about being a single mom. The only thing that felt missing in my life at that point was I wanted to get back to success in my business. And so I got an email from a life coach who had a program called Success and Fulfillment. And the only word that I paid attention to was the word success. I didn't care about fulfillment. I just wanted to feel successful again. And I went through that program, and inside the program, you got a free coaching, one-on-one coaching call. And so I took advantage of that free coaching call. And then I signed up for a one-on-one coach for a year. And inside that year, so much changed for me. So much changed. I started feeling happy. I started feeling support. I started feeling blessed. So many things came out of that one-on-one coaching that I was so grateful for. And I wanted to be a coach. And so I signed up for this coaching program by the same coach who offered Success and Fulfillment. And I wanted to be a life coach. And they said, it'll help you in your business. I'm still not sure how it was supposed to help me in my business, because ultimately what it did is it redirected me, because I found this passion for helping people. And I became obsessed with learning how our minds work and how we intertwine together and how to communicate and how to have better relationships and all of this stuff. Like it's indescribable, all the things that I learned from my coaching program. In fact, you don't have to go more than once. I've been 5 times. I'm glad I kept coming back, because the third time that I went, right before going, I realized I was feeling guilty about something that had happened in my son's life. And I went to this program, and I went through this process of how to let go of guilt. And everyone in the room, she asked, who has guilt? And everyone in the room raised their hand except for me, because I forgot that I had found this thing that I was feeling guilty about. But I was listening to the stories of what people were feeling guilty about. I raised my hand and I said, I let someone hurt my son. And I said it like that because I knew I needed to get into that feeling in order to let it go. I had to feel it. I had to really touch this guilt that I had. You see, a couple years earlier, I was trying to raise some extra money to move. I had a roommate. She and I were moving from a 3-bedroom apartment where 4 people shared that 3-bedroom apartment. 3 of us were adults, 1 child, and we were moving into a 4-bedroom house, and we needed to probably an extra $1,000 to pay for the moving truck. And so neither of us had that money. And so we started driving in San Francisco for Uber. And I left my son with a babysitter that I trusted. And I came home, and about a week later, he was going to go back to the babysitter just for a couple hours. And he burst into tears, and he told me that she had been inappropriate with him. And I did all of the things like that you're supposed to do in that situation. So I called CPS. I filed a police report. I called CPS first because in my mind, a 13-year-old girl doesn't do something to a 4-year-old boy unless she's had it done to her. And so I wanted her to get help too. And then I filed a police report, and I got him into some counseling, and honestly, he's doing great. He doesn't remember. He remembers her, but he doesn't remember all that happened. And to my knowledge, they denied everything. The police report never went anywhere. And I never once thought about me. I never once thought about talking to somebody like a professional about what had happened. Not once. So for 2-3 years, it festered. And I got irrationally angry right before this live event for my coaching. And we went to the doctor. It came up in the doctor appointment that he was going to be, or that they were going to call CPS again about the same incident. And I got irrationally angry. And I get rationally angry still. Like, it's not like when you do self-development, you just magically are peaches and light all the time. No, you still have normal human emotions and the whole array. But I noticed it was different. It didn't feel rational. It felt irrational. And so at this event, we walked through the process, and it just felt like 50 to 100 pounds was lifted off my shoulder. And I knew that moms needed to let go of guilt. It's not serving you. It's not serving your kids. And I started interviewing moms. Tell me about, what you want in your life. What are your worst fears? And I kept hearing guilt, 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 guilt. And so because my comfort level at the time was writing instead of using my voice, I wrote a book for moms. It's called Good Moms Don't: The Lies, Truths, and How to Conquer Mom Guilt. And inside the book, it talks about what guilt is, how to overcome it. And it gives about 15 common things that moms feel guilty about. And so that's a little bit of my story. I have a passion for helping moms. I have a passion for spreading the awareness that when you heal yourself and become a better person, you're going to become a better parent. I've seen it, I've lived it, and I'm excited to help facilitate your growth. So what you can expect in our podcast is, like I said, we're going to have some guests. We're going to have some amazing moms and entrepreneurs come in and explain their experience with how self-improvement has improved not only in their life, but in their parenting, and how that can affect you and help you. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope to see you back here. We're going to be live once a week, and I can't wait to see your growth. Have a great one. Thank you for tuning in to Imperfect Mommying. It's time for us to step up and realize that our power is not in trying to shape our children. Our power lies in shaping ourselves into the people we want our children to model themselves after. Don't just do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. When you become a more self-aware, compassionate, and confident person, you and everyone around you benefit. For more information about me and my work, visit AlysiaLyons.com. That's AlysiaLyons.com. See you next time.